Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shannon. I'm a full-time online reseller. I sell on POSHMARK and eBay primarily, but I'm also on Mercari, Etsy, pretty much everywhere you can sell, you can find me. My username is Shanny Sells. You can find that all linked down below, and if you check out my shop, I really appreciate it. Today we're doing a little bit more of a casual setup. I don't feel like going upstairs to do the whole ring light thing. My puppy is downstairs. Follow me on Instagram at Shanny Sells. You might know we got a new puppy last week. It's been a really busy time. If she gets up, maybe she'll pop into the camera. And the other thing I wanted to say is thank you to Art Vandalife for the giveaway hoodie. I won this and it just arrived today, so I was super excited to show it off. Definitely go to his channel, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. To be honest with you guys, with everything going on, I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope we're doing as well as we can right now in these uncertain times. I know for me, the past, I want to say week and a half, I've been feeling just more unmotivated. It's just been harder to get up and work on my business every day, just like with the uncertainty of what's going to happen. But I'm still trying my best and just pushing forward. So I hope you guys are doing the same and that you're staying healthy and all of that. Yeah, so it feels weird to be back on camera, but it feels good because I really want to be more active on YouTube. I want to start filming 2 videos a week. So you want to quit your job and be a full-time reseller. Here's the real pros and cons. Now, I've been doing this full-time since June of 2019. So that's 9-10 months, and I can tell you the real pros and cons because I live them every day. I can tell you that the pros far outweigh the cons for me, or else I wouldn't be doing it still. I didn't personally go out and quit my job to do this full time. I kind of fell into it, and I think it was sort of meant to be the way it happened. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can watch my first video. I talk about how I was fired from my job, and then it led me to do reselling full time, which I was doing as a hobby before that. So these are things that I would have liked to know before I started, and if I were to do it differently, for example, I would like to have more money saved, but like I said, I fell into it, so I went full force straight ahead into reselling. I didn't really have as much time to think about it. So anyway, I hope this helps someone out there, and please let me know if it does. So let's start with the pros, and I'm going to list them on the screen. My number 1 pro is working for yourself. It's amazing working for yourself. A lot of these pros are also cons. I'll go into that later, but I'll do that separately. Working for yourself, you have to be really, really motivated. It's amazing though to be able to get up every day, work in your pajamas, wake up when you want, all of that good stuff. The next one I have is work as much or as little as you want. So it's nice to be able to shut off when you want, take breaks when you want. I can tell you from personal experience that it's weird because now that I have the opportunity and the chances to take as many breaks as I want doing this, it's like I have to actually tell myself to take a break. Meanwhile, when I was working for a company, I took many breaks. So I think it's just because of the whole money thing. You feel like you're doing this full time, you can work as much. The more you work, the more money you make, especially with POSHMARK and other sites like that. So it's just motivating for you to never stop, but it's also not healthy. So that can be a con as well, and we'll talk about that later. Along with that, you can work from anywhere. You can work from your bed, you can work from your hammock in the summer, whatever it is, it's awesome. You don't need to sit at a desk, you can sit at a desk, whatever you want, you can do that. So a favorite pro of mine about reselling is the ability to be creative. Now, in my past jobs, I've had a lot of past jobs that I've done before this, I always felt like something was missing. There was always, and no job is perfect, and I know that, but I always felt like there should be more. I should be able to be more creative, or I think it's just the fact of owning your own business and being able to do whatever you want with it. and being able to be as creative as you want is really perfect for me. Anything from like crafting an Instagram post to, you know, putting an outfit together, or I don't know, like just all of it, like even the photography aspect of it. While it is part of the job, you can make it more fun, you know, with different angles and all of that. So the ability to be creative is really a favorite of mine. Next pro is everything that we all love. Thrifting is the fun part of the job. So obviously that's a pro. Nobody gets into full-time reselling, or I'd say reselling at all, unless you love to go thrifting. So I've been thrifting since I was like 18. It's like 10 years. I really used to go to like yard sales and stuff with my mom when I was little, and my grandma. So I've really been shopping secondhand in general for a very long time, and I just wouldn't do it any other way. So along with that, another pro is rehoming these items, seeing them go to new homes. I love when people show me actual pictures of them wearing it. I'll try to pop a picture up for my Instagram. I've gotten a few and I'll try to post them here. I just love seeing how people style things, just like getting their, you know, love notes and images makes me so happy. Along with that, rehoming items goes with saving them from the landfill. Our landfills are filled with used clothes, and we can help, you know, if we can help even a little bit with the impact on the earth, like why wouldn't we? So that's obviously a huge perk as well. Another thing is I wrote down just like love notes on Poshmark, because I love how on Poshmark you can write a detailed review, and I just love when I get a detailed like, I love this item so much, you know, arrived in great condition, looks perfect in my kitchen, whatever the love note may be. It just makes me really happy, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something that is making somewhat of a difference. Building a brand and curating that brand is a great pro of this job. So building a brand, there's so much that goes into that, and it goes back to the being creative aspect. Like you can do so much with that. Like for me personally, part of my brand is that I want to donate a portion of proceeds to a new animal shelter each month, and then share with you guys the story of that animal shelter. That's part of my brand. Like all of that goes in together, and I didn't do it for that purpose, but it does intertwine into it. So, for example, like this month, I'll actually be donating to the shelter that we got our puppy. Her name is Shiloh. We just picked her name a couple days ago. It took us like a week to pick a name. I don't know how people name their kids. It's really got to be hard. But anyway, we're donating to that rescue. Whatever it may be, building your brand and making it what you want it to be, to follow some kind of passion that you have, is like so much fun. So watching your business build from the ground up and seeing the success that you're gaining, and like basically seeing that your hard work is going somewhere, is a huge perk to this job. And I feel like in general, when you work for yourself and you have a business, any kind of business, not just reselling, you really get to reap what you sow. So you really are directly seeing how much your hard work is going into, you know, how much it's helping you and how much it's making your profit go up. So along with building your brand is also building repeat buyers and repeat customers. It's really exciting and fulfilling to see people come back to your closet. It means that they're supporting you and that they believe in your business and what you're doing. So that's an amazing thing. And along with that, my last one was pride in your own business name. So owning your own company, reaping what you sow, seeing all the results, like getting these love notes, all of this together, it just is very fulfilling, and it gives you a huge sense of pride. I'm definitely the most proud of my Shiny Sales brand and my shop in general out of everything in my life that I've probably done. I know it sounds intense, but I definitely believe that wholeheartedly. Okay, so because I'm a positive person, we started out with the pros, and now we're moving on to the cons. So, like I said, no job is perfect, but this is by far my favorite job I've ever had. It is also by far my hardest job that I've ever had. There's pros and cons to everything, but getting into the cons, so I wrote down, so this could be a pro and a con. So you have multiple jobs when you're a full-time reseller. You have multiple jobs as a small business owner in general, but I think reselling specifically, a lot of people get into this because there's like no overhead. You don't need really anything to get started cost-wise, and you really don't need any employees to get started, as opposed to say like a restaurant where you need staff right away. Just an example. So with that comes multiple jobs, which are fun. You know, you love doing them, you have pride doing them, but you're also doing all of them every single day. So I just wrote down for cons, I wrote all your jobs. So these are also fun, like I said, but they're a lot. So we're just gonna list them, and I'm also gonna write them on the screen for you guys. So we have photographer, lister, cross-lister if you are on multiple platforms. With that also comes not only listing the items on multiple platforms, but remembering to take those items off of the site when they sell. I have had the issue where it's happened a few times where I forgot to do that, and then unfortunately the item sold and I've had to cancel the order, and I feel terrible. So remembering to just be organized about it is a part of cross-listing. So you are a tax preparer and financial tracker. Some people do their taxes themselves. I hired a CPA, but tracking finances, tracking your profit and your loss, you have to see if you're actually making a profit. You have to track every little thing. You have to keep track of every, you know, not necessarily receipt, but you have to track every expense, all of that, to see if you are coming out on top or if what you're doing is even worth it for you. You're a shopper, which is the fun part, right? But you still have to do it. You're a cleaner, you're scrubbing shoes. There's lots of laundry and stain removal, which a lot of people don't think about. There's a lot of, you know, suede cleaning without ruining the suede because it's a really sensitive fabric. Just all of that goes into it. And many times you do a lot of the scrubbing and the stain removal, and then you do all that work and then the stain doesn't even come out. So it's definitely a job that you're doing. You're a supply stocker. This goes for business supplies and inventory. You need packing tape, you need boxes, you need to do all of this at the lowest cost possible. You are in charge of stocking those things and keeping track of what you're running low on and making sure that you have that ready to go when you need it for your business. You're a social media marketer. This is even more at play if you're doing YouTube. YouTube is a lot of work, or a blog, and or some people do both. Your Instagram, you're marketing your Instagram, you're trying to gain followers, you're doing all of that on your own. And it's not easy. I also wanted to mention quickly that if you're thinking of this in terms of a company that's not reselling, many companies actually hire out separate people for each of these jobs. So keep that in mind too. You're a POSHMARK closet sharer. If you are on POSHMARK, you are sharing your closet constantly to make sales. You are, you know, all of the things that go along with that. Following people, sharing other people's stuff, sharing your own closet. And you're not just doing it once, you're doing it as many times as you can a day. Many people hire a virtual assistant for this or use a third-party service. So it's a separate job all on its own. You are a customer service person. Our favorite thing ever, right? You're dealing with returns, you're dealing with refunds, you're dealing with questions, and sometimes late at night or early in the morning. You're dealing with measurements, you're dealing with unhappy people, sometimes all of that goes along with it. You're a shipper, my least favorite part. You're an inventory tracker and organizer. This goes along with shipping. If you can't find your item, you can't ship it out. If you sold something you can't find, that really sucks. Then you have to cancel your order. tracking your inventory is a very difficult thing, and I'm still figuring that one out. Okay guys, one of the cons I wrote down is thrifting is still fun, but it also becomes a responsibility. So this is something that I think a lot of people don't think about when they get into reselling. And it just came to my mind the other day, especially right now when thrift stores are closed due to the virus outbreak, meaning that a lot of us that don't have backed up inventory, or death piles, as you may call it, money piles, we don't have things to list. So for me right now, I'm just getting creative. I am relisting and rephotographing lots of old things, which I honestly needed to do anyway. So I have been actually enjoying that part of it. But so there are days when you might not have any inventory to list, and as much as you love thrifting, you might just not be in the mood for it that day or whatever, but you need to list stuff every day to make sales. We know how important it is to list daily, so this also becomes a responsibility. So along with that is finding inventory as cheap as possible. So along with thrifting becoming like more of a responsibility, it's also becoming, if you're going from a hobby reseller to a full-time reseller, it's gonna shift a lot for you. You can't just go to the store and spend as much as you want. You need to actually like budget and have a specific cost in mind, or just know that you're trying to do it as cheaply as possible. For someone like me that lives 2.5 hours from the Goodwill outlet, when they are open, I know right now, we're not thrifting, we're not going out, but it's really difficult to find inventory as cheap as possible. So for me, I just end up driving a lot and going to bag sales. In the summer and spring, I utilize yard sales and estate sales, which I love doing anyway, but you have to get super creative. I wrote down a con is that you have to be extremely motivated. Do I think everyone can do this full time? I actually don't. The more that I'm doing this, the more I think that like only certain people are really cut out for it. You have to be extremely motivated to work for yourself in general, but reselling and the amount of how time consuming it is with the listing, sharing, all of that, the photographing, it's just, you have to be very motivated. You have to get up in the morning, you have to just start doing it. And along with that comes that you have to be extremely motivated even in rough times. Like, so I wrote down here that some days you put in full-time work and you still get a $0 day. This has been more frequent for me with the virus and everything going on. And that can be really discouraging. And this goes back to me saying that I don't know if everyone can do it, because I think a lot of people would give up in that instance. But you have to just keep your head up and stay focused even throughout those times. You just have to somehow say, tomorrow's going to be a better day. I didn't make sales today. Maybe those listings that I posted today will help me tomorrow. I don't think everyone has the capability to think like that. I also wrote down, you have to carve out time for yourself. This is a con of working from home and working for yourself full time. For me, I have to make sure I'm not working 24/7. It's something I'm working on, but the more you work, the more money you make. And I just haven't been very good at self-care lately. So that is something that is a con. You have to actually think about taking time for yourself to do other things. I also wrote, a con is that you will have to work twice as hard as a regular job to make a livable income. I wrote, at least in the beginning. So this might not be the case later on for like bigger resellers with bigger shops. You might get to a point where your eBay store or your POSHMARK closet, I don't want to say POSHMARK because it's more hands-on. You have to be on the app and sharing to be active and make sales. But for eBay, at least, you could get to a point where your eBay store is kind of running itself, in a sense, where your listings are just selling daily. You don't have to do as much work. But at least in the beginning, you will probably be working twice as hard and as many hours as you did at your other job to make a livable income. And everybody's definition of a livable income is different. But whatever your number may be, to get there, you're gonna have to work extremely hard and you're gonna have to keep your head up. I'm sure I forgot a few things. I just thought of another con I wanted to add is that you have to remember to put money away for taxes. And that can be hard when you're using this money to pay all your bills 100% and all of that, because you have to also remember to put money away for taxes. So for me, that's been hard because there have been times when I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I put enough away for taxes this week. Everyone does it differently. You can do it quarterly, you can do it weekly, whatever you want. But for me, there were times where I'm like, well, I have to get groceries, so you know, I need to do that first before I put money away for taxes, but then I just make up for it later. So that's a con because obviously you're not working a 9-to-5 where it's coming right out of your paycheck. You have to remember to do that. So it just takes a little more, it just takes a little more organization for that. And then it's really not that bad. I'm probably gonna think of things after the fact and say, oh man, I wish I had said that. There's a lot of both pros and cons, but I think it's easy to remember that you're doing this because you love it, so just keep doing that and doing what you love, and it will pay off in the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye! Say hello to Shiloh. She is our new adopted puppy. She is 4 months old. She is a Schnauzer Poodle mix. I don't see any poodle in her though. Here, let's get a close up. Hello, baby girl. Say hello. I just woke her up from a nap to get in the camera shot, so she's probably mad at me. We adopted her from a rescue in upstate New York that adopted her from Puerto Rico. So their name is Heaven Can Wait, North Star's Dogs for Adoption, and they work with a rescue in Puerto Rico that takes care of a lot of homeless dogs. Puerto Rico has a really big homeless dog population, and they take them off the streets. So she's 4 months old. She's really sleepy right now, but we are so in love with her, and it's pretty much like having a baby. You have to watch them all day, and you know, she's really good though. She would just snuggle up all day with you if she wanted to, if you let her. She's also very playful though. She loves to play with her toys, and she's such a good girl. But I just wanted you guys to meet her. Thanks for watching. Bye.